hey, I do like this miniature sprinkler, what would it look like on my plants? And you accidentally place it, and to undo it goes into your inventory and you lost your block bugs. That is so annoying, and when that happens to you, I just cringe a little bit every single time. Today is the day where we go over some of my pet peeves in Bloxburg, and let me say, there are quite a few, but I don't hate the game. I'm just stating what I find a little bit annoying in Welcome to Bloxburg. Let me drink my coffee through my ice first. And my first pet peeve is when you go in build mode and you go to build, and there's a section called garden, and then you go into decorate, and there is a section called garden. I'm like, this is just filling up space. Why does it have to be in two categories? But yes, this is a small pet peeve. This is something that I can easily look over, but sometimes I do find it a bit annoying when two of the same things are in two different categories, but that might be only me. And then of course, as I stated many times before, I probably said it in every video almost, this is how much I hate it. But yes, this parking garage, I really do not get why they added that to the game. There are 12 players and 50 players in neighborhoods, and still this parking garage is so big. I really don't know why they added that and why they thought, hey, it would be a good idea to add a parking garage for 500 cars to a city that people only used to work in or roleplay in the city hall as a school. I really don't know why they added that, and I just hate the parking garage deeply. Then another pet peeve, yes, I do kind of hate how all of the houses are in one street while there's another street over there, but there's just one long row of grass and then there's a few houses in the middle of that, and it looks a little bit weird to me. And especially since there is so little space in between the houses, it does look like a mixed match of all different styles and stuff. It would be nice if there was like a little mountain or a little forest more in between the houses, just to create a little more space in between that. Then another pet peeve I have in Bloxburg. Yes, we're going to the game passes. First of all, the game pass prices are so weird. The best game passes are the cheapest ones. For example, you have basements at 100, then advanced placement at 200, an excellent employee as well, multiple floors. These are like the cheapest ones. And then the worst ones, in my opinion, are premium and unlocked stereo, because they don't give you as many options. Well, premium may be a little more than unlocked stereo, but they are the most expensive game passes. I'm like, oof. My biggest pet peeve is the multiple floors. I feel like you should at least be able to build 2 stories to your house for free. One story is just not cutting it, and living in bungalows because you don't have Robux is kind of weird to me. So I feel like you should at least be able to build 2 floors, and maybe above that make a game pass, but 1 floor is maybe a little too small. And then we go back to the city center, because there's a lot that bothers me in the city center, as I stated in the last video where I said what I wanted before update 1.0. But yes, we have the parking garage, which we went over already, but then next to the parking garage there is a gas station that has no use at all, and I just think it's so weird to have this building when no one ever goes here, only maybe once or twice for a roleplay, like acting like you get gas, but you don't actually need gas in the game. So this is kind of another useless building, and we got quite a few of these. The furniture store as well. What I hate about... Ooh, please put on some clothes. Now, what I hate about this is that it hasn't been updated in a very long time. Oof, I just drove my cart in here, but yes, it hasn't been updated in a very long time, so all of the items displayed here are just the items that were released in 2016, I think. So I feel like this one needs a big refresh. And yes, my car got stuck in the meanwhile, but let's just ignore that. Another one of my pet peeves is definitely the highway. I feel like when the map updated, we were all so happy about it, and then we drove on the highway once, and all of us were like, yeah, we have a highway now, this is amazing, it even has a store, stuff like that. And I feel like after driving through it twice, none of us ever use the highway anymore, only for when you go camping, but I don't feel like a lot of people use the campsite over there. This just feels like a very long road to go to the other side of town, while it's easier to drive through town and go here, so this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And then, oh my god, this one I hate so much. Like, when people break into your backyard, even though you have a fence. And I feel like with the fence gate update, there should have been a thing where if you place a fence like this, for example, around your house, it creates an invisible barrier that goes up a little bit higher than this so that people cannot jump over it and that they can't break into your house like that. Like, especially, we have fence gates now, so you could just place a fence gate and go through that if you need so. But I feel like this is so annoying when people just break into your stuff and act like it's normal and it's your fault when you block them. Oh my. Now, I feel like this one needs a little barrier like most of the fences do. And you could just create a fence around your house with a fence gate so that people can't break in and you don't have to block everyone one by one if you don't want people on your plot. Just use the fence gates like that because right now they don't really make sense, especially since you can just do this and jump over it and everyone can just basically enter through your house. And then another one of my pet peeves is when you're building, for example, yes, let me just put a wall here, and then you like a color very, very much. So you're like, okay, let's paint this side red, and then this is, for example, the kitchen, so we're gonna give that a linen color, and you want to copy that wall, and then you drag across this, and the color is inverted, so you always need to drag in the same direction to make it follow the color, otherwise your colors get inverted, and oh my god, this is so annoying when you're building, and then you turn around a little bit, and you make a wall, and it just gets inverted like that. Oh my goodness, I hate that so much. I usually just place my walls and paint them afterwards, just because I don't like to use this feature. And then another thing, especially when that update came out, I was kind of mad, but still, I think I'm over it now. A lot of people use these flowers and place them around like so, and you just had a nice little flower garden, or you just wanted to make a nice little waterfall, for example, and you had some flowers around it like so, and then suddenly there was an update with withering, which means your plants could die if you don't water them. A lot of people made a lot of nice things with flowers, and I feel like you can't really do that anymore because you would need 300 garden sprinklers to be able to keep your garden clean, and you just can't keep up with the watering. And I feel like this is quite sad because I do like to use flowers from time to time, and I feel like a lot of people like to use flowers but they just don't use them just because they start to wither and die, and they are quite expensive to replace constantly. Then another pet peeve is when you're looking at Bloxburg items and you're like, hey, what would that look like in real life? For example, this fridge right here, and you accidentally place it and you want to undo it, but then it goes into your inventory and you lost your Bloxburgs and you can't get them back. Oh my god, that is so frustrating. Like, you are checking things out and then you're like, hey, I do like this miniature sprinkler, what would it look like on my plants? And then you accidentally place it, and to undo it goes into your inventory and you lost your Bloxburgs. That is so annoying, and when that happens to you, I just cringe a little bit every single time. And then we stay in build mode, and this is quite the sad one. So for example, you place a floor outside, then you want to paint it, and you go to the material section and you're like, okay, let me find a nice material here, for example these pebbles, and you place them and you just can see that they're all mirrored and it doesn't look nice at all, doesn't really fit the game aesthetic, and that is quite sad. Like with these ones, it's nice because you are used to seeing floors like this, but seeing the pebbles just being copied over and over looks a little bit weird to me. Let me turn off the grid so that you can see it more easily. So this stone especially, you can see coming back quite a few times, and that is why I don't like to use these materials a lot, even though they look really nice. Same thing with this, you can just see this line being copied over and over and over. I feel like the veins in the wood and stuff like that, you can just easily see that it's just copied over and over and over. And that makes it a little bit ugly, and it's a little sad because it is a nice material after all. And then another thing, well, it did kind of get fixed now, but it's not fixed yet, is that you cannot build under roofs. I'm very, very saddened about that, but we have a hollow roof now, which is the hollow mansard roof. But for example, if you want to place a hip roof and you want to make it really high, for example this horror house, let's make this roof really high, and you want, for example, to build a bedroom under this just because it looks cozy with the slanted walls. Wow, this looks like a gnome house. So as you can see, you cannot enter that in any way, and that is quite sad to me because sometimes I want to build under roofs, but you can do it with the hollow mansard roof. But then if you place that, I will show you in a minute. This is so ugly. And you go to the second floor and you want to build underneath it. Clicking on the hide button right here, or the toggle roofs button, it does not hide your roof, and so you actually have to go inside here and then you can start placing stuff. But it's not easy to do, and it's just a little annoying. Also the fact that when you paint this, the outside color and the inside color is basically the same. And then there are some jobs that I just cannot stand doing, and in these jobs conclude, of course, the hairdresser jobs. I just hate all the clicking and just everything around it basically, and I just can't stand doing this job for longer than 1 minute. And the ice cream vendor job is another job I hate. It just stresses me out a lot because I feel like I have to do so many things at once, and I just get stressed from doing this. I can't keep doing it for a long time, and as you can see now, I accidentally put nuts on my ice cream instead of the sprinkles that they asked me, so I have to start over from scratch, and it's just a job that really triggers me easily, and I just can't do it very long because I just get so stressed by it. So usually I never do this job. And then maybe, just maybe, one of my pet peeves might be the map in general. Just, I know we got an expansion and all that, but in fact we're all caved in with the same big rock that goes around us, and the beach isn't that long or that wide. You can't do that much on it, and it's just not very interactive. So I feel like we just need a map overhaul ASAP. And then another pet peeve, looking at the sun, it just came to me, yes. Another pet peeve is the fact that I feel like every time I play Bloxburg or go out of build mode, it is dark. And I don't know why it's dark as long as it is daylight, but I do feel like it is dark constantly, and especially when like the sun is coming up. I really love this view when the sun is coming up, but that only happens for like a minute a day, and a day takes 24 minutes. And other than that, you just have either a very bright sun coming up from the top without the nice shadows, or it's nighttime. And I feel like it's nighttime way too often, even though it's only nighttime for 12 minutes. But I feel like maybe the sun should be setting at 9 p.m. and come up at like 5 a.m. or something like that, not 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I just like the daylight a little bit better. Now, these are some of my pet peeves. Of course, they are very subjective. This is very personal, and it's not something that would make me stop playing the game. Obviously, I love Welcome to Bloxburg, so these are just some things that I kind of find frustrating and not really quite understand more than wanting to get used to them. So this is more of my personal thing right here, but yes, these are some of my pet peeves. Let me know what your pet peeves are in the comments below. I do want to know what you guys find annoying about the game, because there's quite some things that people really tend to hate on in Welcome to Bloxburg, or just in general, and these were mine. So anyways, that was it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, and please subscribe.